All right, guys, we're breaking out some tactical Tupperware today. The Glock P80, a throwback to Gadsden's original design. Let's have some fun with this. All right. Feeling the nostalgia already, boys and girls. Oh yeah. Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric here with Iraq Veteran 8888. Really special pistol we're going to be talking about here today, the Glock P80. This particular pistol comes out of about a 3-year period that Lipsy spent working with Glock to perfect every little detail, no pun intended, to perfect every little detail of getting the original issue P80 correct in terms of all the features and all. And what the P80 is intended to be is the exact configuration that Gadsden submitted to the Austrian Army back in 1980. With a lot of your European pistol designs, usually anytime you have a P and then the date that it was accepted, you look at the Walthers, right, P38, okay, that type of thing, P08, right, the Luger was adopted in 1908, thus calling it the P08. Same type of thing, you've got the P80, so it would have been adopted by the Austrian military in 1980. And you guys know, of course, as history shows us, that this gun was brought to the civilian market as the Model 17, okay? And then, of course, you look at early Model 17s, what we call pebble grips. That's a throwback, obviously, to the early style of Glocks. There's a lot of things that have been changed about the Glock series of pistols over the years. And I'm not gonna bore you guys to tears going through all the generational changes, but they have gone through some, what many would consider improvements. There are some things that are throwback to the original on this. Lots of things, actually. Feature-wise, obviously, no rail system. Okay, so a smooth frame here. You have no rail system. The trigger is smooth-sided, so no stippling on the trigger. The texture of the grip is what we call pebble grip. Very, very smooth profile. Some people like it, some people hate it. I find that's actually very nice to hold. Not a problem at all. Of course, you don't have the interchangeable back straps and things that have come along with like the Gen 5s and things like that. It does retain a polygonal rifled barrel like the original. That was one of the design features of the original Glock that was so cool, was the polygonal rifled barrel. You don't want to shoot cast bullets out of this one. The later marksman barrels that Glock has come out with have more of a traditional button cut, and you can get away with cast bullets that are properly sized in those. They don't recommend that in the P80 because it is a polygonal rifle barrel. DLC coating, so it's a Gen 3 coating that is on the slide. They can't do the Tenifer anymore. Original, I know you've probably seen some of the original Gen 1 17s with the pebble grip, with that holster wear on them, especially like a police trade-in, and that Tenifer gets this really like polished look to it from being, holstered a million times. There's something like kind of cool about that, but with the Gen 3 finish, it is a DLC finish, which is fine. One thing you notice is that Glocks still ship with the exact same sights that they've always had. So that simple sighting arrangement has held true ever since day one. And it's just something that they have never really managed to get around or change, is the sight arrangement. Your slide itself, relatively unchanged. I mean, I know some of the more modern Glocks have forward cocking serrations on the slide itself. This one just has your simple rear serrations, which is absolutely fine. You'll also notice too that there are less action pins. So when you look at a Gen 117, you hear the term thrown around, single pin gun, a 1-pin gun. So the P80 is true to the original Model 17 in that it's a 1-pin gun. As Glock made generational changes to their pistols, they added additional pins for better support to keep that locking block from tilting and moving and to add a little bit more rigidity there. So you'll see additional pins added for that purpose. The magazine release, of course, is the standard small, slim magazine release like you'll see on early pistols, such as the early Gen 1 and most Gen 2 and even Gen 3 pistols will have that kind of small magazine release button. Also, another feature, you notice that there's no ability to attach a shoulder stock to this particular gun, at least not in the truest sense that the later versions have a little keyhole back here that you can actually lock a shoulder stock into. This particular one just has the little plug back here, just the space back there. They're really nice guns, you know. The trigger is fantastic. It's really not a bad trigger on this gun at all. And it's got that kind of smooth profile to it. It almost makes me think of holding a Glock Model 36, the single stack 45, although it does have the Gen 3 grip texture. That's one gun that Glock still makes that it has this slim profile to it, right? And even though, yes, this is a double stack frame, without the addition of the rail system on there, it's a very slim and handy gun. And I could see for 1980, when this thing was, you know, put out there and submitted to the Austrian military, I could see how this would be a really cool thing back then. You got to think of the other guns that were, you know, around at the time, right? You know, soldiers are still carrying 1911s. I mean, our military was right on the heels of adopting, what, like the M9 Beretta? Okay, so the Beretta is not a bad pistol, but compared to this was a pretty cutting edge thing, okay? We see that on the P80, there's no ambidextrous slide stop or safety or any kind of random things. This is a stripped down, basic vision. Gaston Glock's original vision for the Glock is the P80. So if you want something that is a traditional old school style Glock, the P80 is a great one to get. If you don't want to try to chase down an original Gen 117, those can be pretty collectible. And if they're in really good shape, you probably don't want to shoot them. I mean, believe it or not, there are people that collect modern handguns and that want a historical reference to early models of a certain pistol design. As I understand, Lipsy's has made a very limited amount of these. There's not a ton of them out there, but this is for the Glock guy that definitely has everything. And I picked one up because I just thought it was so cool and I wanted to make a video. I don't have a Gen 117 to show you guys, but I thought it'd be cool to do a little video with it. So I'm gonna shoot it a little bit more here. All right, have some fun. Oh yeah. One of the things about the polygonal barrels in these, and one of the reasons that they did it initially, is the polygonal barrels offer lower friction in the bore. So you're supposed to get higher velocities, cartridge to cartridge, over a button rifle barrel. That was kind of one of the initial purposes of doing that. And they weren't the first people to do that, okay, to my knowledge. Other guns that were coming out around the same time, I know one that had the polygonal rifle barrels were the H&K VPs, VP80. What was those things called? You'll see. Chad will correct me on the lower third there, but those early H&K pistols that looked like an ugly staple gun, right? Those guns had polygonal barrels, if I'm not mistaken. Really cool stuff. And you look at the CZ82s and 83s, things like that. Those guns have like a really funky polygonal rifling in them as well. So it's not necessarily something that was only done with this gun, but I think Gaston was one of the first people to definitely employ that in a service pistol. Really cool stuff. I mean, you just have to kind of put yourself in the mindset of, you know, imagine putting this gun through trials back then. This was probably a really cool thing to experience. Really neat stuff. Really neat stuff. I wanted to mention also, this P80 comes with the original, tactical Tupperware container, which is really neat. More of a military style container, and I'll give you a little bit of an inkling as to why this hole is here. Okay, you've got your OG cleaning rod and brush. Okay, really cool. And they even went through the effort to put the same warning label in there like the original Tupperware container. You notice this hole here. Okay, a lot of people don't ever really think about what that's for. Okay, that is so these cases will actually stack together. Okay, and they could either run a cable through these things and lock them all together, or I know in a lot of military armories like World War II and stuff, we used to have these big metal containers that the 1911s would slide into, and then they could actually lock the container shut and run like a rod through the middle of it and bolt it shut. So all the pistols were locked inside of each other. So that is so in the armory, they could stack all these things up, and they could probably put their rack number or whatever on the outside of the box, or run a cable through it and lock the box shut. But primarily, I believe that they would run these, down together and be able to lock them shut, just like, we did in World War II. It's really cool stuff, but that's the old school tactical Tupperware container. And it comes with a neat little certificate of authenticity. Really neat. And there's Gadsden's signature. Really cool. And I think it is definitely important to give credit where it's due. And I believe that Glock has done a great job of not only reissuing this pistol, but I think there's also sort of a philosophy that has gone forward with the gun industry that Gadsden started. And that was making the polymer frame gun a thing, right? Before Glock, there was no such thing as this in a widespread use, right? So he did revolutionize the use of polymers in building guns, period. Not just pistols, but just in firearms use, period, right? And it's just weird to think that, what if John Browning had polymer? What would he design? I mean, John Browning was a reasonable guy, right? He would have been like, hey, it obviously meets the strength requirements, it works, whatever. He would make use of it, right? So you have to think, Gadsden was really smart to come up with a pistol like this, and it has changed the modern world we know as the world of guns, right? All these modern pistols that we love and appreciate so much, they really do owe their lineage to the original P80. This is where it all started, right? And yeah, there's been a lot of gun companies. Like, I love Smith & Wesson M&Ps. They're one of my favorite polymer frame handguns. I mean, I love like the CZ offerings like the Phantom. There are obviously many other polymer wonders that are out there now, but they all owe their lineage to Gadsden. So you can kind of appreciate that as you shoot this gun, thinking, all right, what were those original military officers going through when this thing was submitted, thinking like, wow, what the heck is this thing, right? Coming from a world of like wood and iron, right, and going to polymer, I'm sure it was met with some resistance by some people, right? Because old habits and old traditions die hard, right? Nobody wants to give up their old school gun that they've trusted for so long to come up with something new. So it was kind of a new thing back then, and it's really cool to see how the industry has accepted polymer as such a great way to mass produce things, okay? With injection molds and things, and of course the changes in polymer technology too, just the strength of the polymer formulas, I'm sure those have improved over the years. It's just really cool to see that come full circle and so many people take advantage of it and use, take Gadsden's idea and sort of make it their own and improve it and play around with it some. So kudos to him. And he's certainly sold a bunch of Glocks. There's no doubt about it. I mean, they're on just about every cop's hip. They're all around the world, military, civilians, law enforcement. It's a proven gun, and it has proven itself over the years. And I know some people have a love-hate relationship with Glocks. Some people are fanboys with Glocks. Some people hate them. But you can't deny what this pistol's done for the gun industry as a whole. So try to think about that when we're shooting this gun here today. Having a little fun. I'm not going to run a ridiculous amount of rounds, guys. I mean, y'all get the idea, but It is very accurate, if I can do my part. I've never been able to shoot Glocks stupid good, but it's definitely a lot of fun to shoot this pistol. I think that, you know, Gadsden really did set a standard for reliability in a pistol. I know Glocks are, you know, legendary for their reliability, and they really have proven over the years to hold up quite well and to be machine-like in their reliability. A lot of people really flock to them for that reason. Oh yeah. All right, one more mag here, guys. We'll let you get back to it. You got this nice little box here, loading tool. And it's worth noting also that the manual is specific to the P80. So they give a couple of little, you know, bits of inklings of information. The box that it comes with, not only the certificate, you know, telling about the history of it, but there's this nice little homage here on the inside of the box. It tells you about Gadsden's submission to the Austrian military. So it's just a cool collectible type of thing. I'm not sure this is something Glock is ever going to really do in some kind of like major widespread type of thing, but I know Lipsy's and Glock worked really hard on this, and it's really neat. You know, this is great for the kind of people that just love, you know, pistol history and classic military guns. So I'm going to shoot one more mag. Guys, have a great day. Thank you so much. I'll shoot one more mag here. Have a little fun with this thing. All right, good stuff. 17 shot mag. Yeah, buddy. Good stuff. Guys, have a great day. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this little look here at the P80. Definitely want to take a moment to thank all of our Patreon supporters. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. All the folks who purchase man cans, t-shirts over on Ballistic Ink. Thank you so much for supporting us. This has been the P80. Have a great day. See you next time.